after this sensational charge, Times Now has confronted the PDP president and former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti, but she refused to answer and instead chose to deflect the question. Listen in.
वो मुझे नहीं मालूम, वो आजाद साहब बेहतर जानते होंगे क्योंकि वो उस वक्त चीफ मिनिस्टर रहे हैं, होम मिनिस्टर भी थे, तो वो कौन से मिनिस्टर के क्या लिंक्स रहे हैं वो ज्यादा बेहतर जानते होंगे। वो ये सवाल आपको उनसे करना चाहिए, मैं क्या बताऊं उसमें।
So refusing to answer, saying I don't know anything about it. Pradeep, very interesting reaction coming in from Mehbooba Mufti, despite the big charge that she faces, says I'm not the right person to answer these questions.
See, problem is that every time whenever such straight and direct pointed question are asked to them, they try to divert attention and either they call it a political vendetta. Obviously, if you will say that it's a political vendetta, what about Raw Chief's statement? Because everybody knows that in 2003, both Brijesh Mishra, who was a national security advisor, as well as Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, they refused to share stage with Mehbooba Mufti. It was made clear to then Chief Minister Mufti Mohammed Saeed that if Mehbooba Mufti will be on the stage, we will not be sitting. Reason being, but Atal Bihari Vajpayee never ever wanted to get associated with a person who had links with Hizbul Mujahideen terror organization, because Hizbul Mujahideen terror organization is responsible for killing of thousands of people. Their hands are soaked in blood. So how come you sit with a person? And the second thing is that if you are taking oath under Indian Constitution, that means your responsibility is to think about the people, not to side with those organizations who are spilling blood of innocent Kashmiris. Because when you vote for a person, you vote for a change, you vote for a positive change, you vote for development, you want someone to represent you and take care of your interests. But when you start looking after the interest of the terror organization, that is something, the biggest ever betrayal. I think Congress will have to answer question. Simply they can't just shrug off their shoulders saying that it's a political vendetta, because Ghulam Nabi Azad is a man of a stature. He had been inside, he was a chief minister, because he's a responsible person. If he is giving that kind of, this was not a political statement while he was addressing a gathering. He was responding to a question. That is what they have to understand. Because I asked him a question, he responded to that question. Then I asked him a second question, he said yes, I present. It was not based on hearsay. They had clear-cut evidence. On the basis of that clear-cut evidence, he had submitted a report to then Prime Minister and Home Minister. But what Prime Minister should have done? Prime Minister should have acted on that report, but they didn't act. That means they were soft pedaling over the issue because they wanted to keep one particular section in good humor, and this appeasement policy had costed more to people of Jammu and Kashmir than anybody else, because we have seen how they encouraged, emboldened these villains, and these villains over the period of time were projected as icons. We have seen how man like Yasin Malik was moving scot-free. He was shaking hands with Manmohan Singh and nobody was acting against him, but now he is cooling his heel behind the bars, and I think that has given a sigh of relief to the Kashmiri Pandits, because he had been the butcher of the Kashmiri Pandits, responsible for their exodus, because it was JKL organization that had been killing and targeting them. But they will not speak about all these things. I think photograph, it was not a mere handshake. Now it is clear that yes, appeasement policy had been there, and the Congress was trying to look after their political interests rather than concerned about the national interest. That is one of the reasons that even after
absolutely, and this is the reason, this patronage is the reason why the terrorists were not facing the law, the music, but instead were enjoying perks in the country for so many decades. Pradeep, big story, top focus here on Times Now. Thank you for joining us with those details.